Ancient leaders such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus had a different understanding of true happiness. They didn't see happiness in the same light as modern media or the majority of people today. So the question arises, how can we achieve the same level of happiness as these historical figures? Today, we'll share with you age-old principles that have stood the test of time and can genuinely enhance your happiness. These principles are straightforward yet effective, and implementing just 2 of them can have a profound impact on your life. So, get prepared and stay tuned for what promises to be a transformative experience. Remember to show your support by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Let's get started. Stop questioning yourself. Start believing. Doubt often creeps into our minds like an unwanted visitor, posing a significant challenge. However, the key isn't to eliminate doubt entirely, but to manage it with a historical perspective. Even the great figures of history faced self-doubt, yet they utilized it differently. Take Marcus Aurelius, for instance, a leader who juggled ruling an empire with introspection. He didn't ignore doubt, but confronted it, questioning whether it served him positively. When doubt arises, we can adopt a similar approach by using it as an opportunity for self-reflection and personal growth. Isn't it interesting how we often blow up our doubts, even though the solutions are simpler than we realize? Marcus Aurelius once said, "Our life is shaped by our thoughts," and these words aren't just fancy poetry, they're practical wisdom. Picture this. You're gearing up to start a new project or dive into a new hobby, and doubt starts whispering that you're not capable. Here's where you can turn the tables. Recognize the doubt, then counter it with reminders of your past victories, no matter how small they may seem. This small act of self-assurance can kickstart a happier version of yourself. Remember, happiness doesn't come from the absence of doubt, but from your ability to have faith in yourself despite it. Take a moment to reflect on your life. Have you ever paused during your Netflix binge to wonder, is this all there is? Let's be real here. Reflecting on your life doesn't mean you need to climb a mountain and contemplate existence. It's simply about taking a breather, perhaps over breakfast, to ponder some important questions. Ask yourself, what motivates me to get out of bed every morning? Why do I behave the way I do? Now, picture your life as a movie. Would you eagerly watch it to the end or doze off halfway through? Reflecting isn't about being overly critical, it's about being truthful. If your daily routine were a YouTube video, would you hit the thumbs up or skip it? Remember, you're the director of this show. It's up to you to make it binge-worthy. Dream big. Not those odd dreams about showing up to work in your pajamas, but real aspirations, the ones you yearn for. Are they just collecting dust on a shelf? It's time to dust them off and break them down into manageable steps, as simple as your morning to-do list. Consider this. If you can remember to charge your phone every night, you can certainly take small steps toward your dreams. Your life's narrative is yours to craft, so make it one you'd be proud to share. Focus on what's within your grasp. Life's uncertainties can feel overwhelming at times, but there's a secret to maintaining peace. Concentrate on what you can control. Just like when playing a video game, you can't control the level design or the actions of other players, but you can perfect your own moves. Similarly, in life, direct your attention to your actions, thoughts, and attitudes. These are your controls. Seneca, a renowned philosopher from history, found himself in exile. While many would see this as a loss of control, Seneca took a different approach. He turned inward, concentrating on his writing and thoughts, nurturing his inner world. This wasn't a withdrawal. It was a deliberate focus on what he could influence. His writings from this period stand as a testament to the power of channeling energy where it truly matters. It's a lesson as applicable today as it was in ancient times. Be kind to others. There's a well-known saying that you reap what you sow. Picture tossing a stone into a pond. The ripples it generates spread far and wide, reaching places the stone itself could never touch. This is the impact of doing good deeds for others. Every small act of kindness, whether it's holding the door open or sharing a smile, creates ripples in the world around us. It's not about grand gestures. It's about the everyday kindnesses that truly make a difference. Do fewer things, but do them well. Ever tried juggling? Start with too many balls, and they all end up on the floor. Life works similarly. Attempting to do everything often results in achieving little. The key is to focus on fewer tasks, but execute them with excellence. Select a handful of things that genuinely matter to you and commit yourself to them. Simplifying life doesn't mean having fewer activities, but rather prioritizing what truly holds value. Practice gratitude. Let's pause for a moment and reflect on thankfulness. It's akin to discovering a $5 bill in your old jacket pocket. It's been there all along, but the moment you find it, your day brightens a bit. That's the effect gratitude has on life. It's about appreciating the small joys, a steaming cup of coffee, a heartfelt message from a friend, or the beauty of a sunset. When we begin to notice and express gratitude for these moments, life becomes more fulfilling. You've now reached the halfway point of this video. I commend you for striving to improve yourself, and I kindly request you to leave a comment as it greatly supports my channel. If you're unsure what to comment, simply write Stoic Soul so I know you've made it this far. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Cease the pursuit of external validation. Chasing external approval is akin to pursuing a shadow that continuously slips away. Stoicism imparts a valuable lesson here. Seek validation from within rather than from external sources. Envision your self-worth as a fortress. Why entrust someone else with the keys? Challenge yourself. Picture yourself scaling a mountain. It's arduous, demanding, and at times you question why you embarked on the journey. Yet each step forward strengthens you, making you more resilient. Stoicism teaches us that genuine fulfillment in life stems from overcoming challenges, not avoiding them. Embrace laughter. Laughing more isn't merely a light-hearted suggestion. It's fundamental to leading a contented life. Laughter holds significance. It serves as a tool that alleviates our burdens and offers perspective amidst challenges. How can you incorporate more laughter into the complexities of modern life? It's simpler than you realize. Start by seeking the humorous side of everyday situations. Embrace your destiny. Loving your fate may appear daunting, but it's where the timeless wisdom of Stoicism intersects with our rapidly evolving technological world. Stoicism doesn't advocate suppressing emotions or enduring pain stoically. Rather, it encourages embracing life's challenges with a positive attitude. Consider it akin to riding waves. They may vary in size, but your ability to navigate them matters more than their magnitude. So, how can you embrace your fate in a world where it may encompass everything from missing a rideshare to crucial emails, vanishing into the digital void? Begin by shifting your perspective. When things don't go according to plan, see them as opportunities for personal growth. Miss the bus? Take it as a chance for a brisk walk and to relish the fresh air. It's not just about making the most of a bad situation, but about transforming challenges into stepping stones toward success. As Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, wisely noted, what obstructs your path can become the path itself. So the next time your Wi-Fi drops during an important call, instead of frustration, appreciate the break from connectivity. Perhaps strike up a conversation with someone nearby, or jot down those creative ideas you've been delaying. Loving your fate at its core means embracing life's unpredictability with adaptability and grace. Choose to dance in the rain rather than waiting for the storm to pass. As we delve deeper into Stoicism, remember that life isn't merely something that happens to us, it happens for us. Every twist, every stumble is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and happier. So, ride those waves with a smile and witness your world undergo transformation. We are the architects of our own happiness. In moments of uncertainty and turbulence, it's our mindset that determines the course of our journey. As ancient philosophers taught us, our power lies in controlling what's within our grasp, accepting the unpredictable, and finding peace in the present moment. May this new year see us not only facing challenges, but embracing them as opportunities for personal development. Each contemplation of gratitude, authenticity, self-reliance, and compassion brings us closer to a more fulfilling life. Therefore, as we venture into the unknown, let's remember the timeless lesson. Our true strength lies in confronting adversity with resilience and finding light amidst darkness. May every step forward serve as a testament to our commitment to a richer existence, and may the pursuit of ancient wisdom guide us toward a year marked by inner peace, self-discovery, and continuous growth. If any part of this message has resonated with you, please leave a like and comment, assisting the algorithm in recommending it to those who may benefit from it. Don't forget to subscribe to avoid missing out on new content, and feel free to explore our existing videos where you're certain to discover something of value. Until next time, stay wise. What if I told you certain personalities have infiltrated society since ancient times, threatening our sanity with their toxicity? What if great thinkers like Seneca identified these troublemakers ages ago, desperately warning future generations to stay far away from them? You see, Stoic philosophy exposes how human psychology works, including the harsh reality that negative people can corrupt our tranquility without us even noticing at first. But what do they look like? Who are these so-called toxic individuals Stoicism insists will infiltrate our lives, spreading discontent? Join me as we decode the ancient warnings and unveil 7 problematic personality types you'll wish you knew about earlier. 1. The chronic complainer. We all know one, the person who literally finds something to complain about in every situation. Someone is always out to get them, the world is perpetually unfair, and things never work out in their favor, even though they are clearly more deserving. As Marcus Aurelius observed, how much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it. Yet the chronic complainer seems to relish in their bitterness and resentment. They feed off of the sympathy and attention their endless grievances and victim narratives garner. But what does hanging around these incessant complainers cost us personally? Well, besides being a downright buzzkill, they also stress us out and sap our energy with their doom and gloom vibes. Over time, listening can skew our thinking as well. We start questioning if life actually is that miserable and whether people do have it out for us. This is why the Stoics warn about letting complainers occupy too much mental space. As Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. Don't wish to seem knowledgeable. We throw up our hands trying to fix them. Rather, limit interactions, so you safeguard your own positive, productive mindset. The complainers will complain with or without you. As Seneca reminds us, we suffer more from choice than from necessity. Prioritize your energy for your own growth. 2. The conniving manipulator. You likely know the type, the charismatic charmer on the surface who secretly schemes to get their way by any means necessary. This person adeptly picks up on and plays upon human motivations and vulnerabilities, bending situations and relationships to serve their own self-interest. They are never content, constantly angling for more power, status, or resources. They flout ethics and explode when deprived. These cunning folks can be intoxicating at first. Who doesn't like charming people showering us with praise and excitement? But the wise Stoic keeps them at arm's length, not losing sight of the exploitative maneuvers under the surface. Marcus Aurelius himself dealt with manipulative personalities firsthand as Roman emperor. He journaled about this threat. When faced with people's bad behavior, turn around and ask when you have acted like that. This insight helps us avoid bitterness while still remaining shrewd. 3. The fair weather friend. We've all had friends who are super fun to be around and sing our praises when times are good. But once storms hit, they are nowhere to be found. Or even worse, they kick us while we're down out of self-interest. As the saying goes, they were friends for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Fair weather friends are just seasonal ones. The Stoics recognize that spineless disloyalty and conditional affection based on gain signifies poor character and values. As Seneca wrote, a person's worth is measured by the worth of what he values. Fair weather friends value comfort and advantage over shared principles and meaning. Sure, we all have different capacities for providing support, but true blue friends make earnest efforts to understand, acknowledge, and assist even when personally inconvenient and without expectation of reward. They stick closer through adversity, not pull away. After all, if they will abandon you in crisis, can they really be trusted partners in reaching higher self-actualization? Weathering storms outs the steadfast from the undependable. As Marcus Aurelius said, dwell on the beauty of life, watch the stars, and see yourself running with them. True friends reflect our light back steadier and more beautifully. Fair weather friends just obscure it temporarily before moving on. 4. The pessimist. You know who they are, the people always assuming the worst-case scenario, forecasting doom, conveying general hopelessness, and ruminating endlessly on all that could go wrong. Now add contamination elements. They want to bring everyone else down into their defeatism too. Marcus Aurelius addressed this succinctly. If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them, and it is in your power to wipe out that judgment now. Pessimists cling to irrational, counterproductive judgments about expected outcomes. Their gloomy outlook is a choice. One Stoicism says, harms both them and those who entertain their dire prophecies for too long. Why do pessimists threaten our tranquility so much? Well, psychology shows emotional states are catchy. We unconsciously mirror others' moods and attitudes as our own neuron pathways sync up. It's why hanging around negative people feels so draining. So, while momentary venting frustration is normal, perpetual doomsayers drag down our motivation, creativity, and emotional foundations. They erode optimism essential for growth and development, and if we vocalize pessimism too, it stamps destructive thought patterns into our psyche. As Epictetus warned, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Don't let pessimists hijack your positive judgment. Remain firmly in control of your internal state. set boundaries, limit exposure, correct distortions with logic when possible. 5. The ephemeral pleasure seeker. We all know that person obsessed with non-stop stimulation, novelty, and indulgence. They chase every shiny distraction, fleeting thrill, and hedonistic high, whether drinks, drugs, parties, shopping sprees, risky romance, or adventure travel. As the Stoic Seneca described it, it is not the man who has too little that is poor, but the one who hankers after more. Yet the pleasure seeker is never satisfied, always benchmarking their happiness against the next high. This fear of missing out breeds anxiety and voyeurism. As Epictetus commented, he is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. But pleasure seekers invert this wisdom, fixating on the next must-have experience, believing it key to fulfillment. This lifestyle proves exhausting and emotionally erosive over time, however. Why? Stoicism teaches that true happiness comes from inner mastery, service, and meaning, not external stimulation alone. We tap deeper resources when not dependent on unstable outside conditions. 6. The arrogant blowhard. We all know that smug, self-important expert who is never wrong and quick to let everyone know it. They flaunt accomplishments, brag non-stop, grasp every chance to lecture, and aggressively correct even slight deviations from their superior worldview. As Epictetus chided, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." The arrogant rigidly cling to their opinions and credentials, refusing to acknowledge limits to knowledge or entertain other perspectives. This close-minded narcissism hinders growth. Beyond just obnoxious, unchecked pride, often alienates allies over time. Seneca warned, "The first thing which philosophy undertakes to give is fellow feeling with all men." In other words, sympathy and sociability. Arrogance erodes empathy and relationships. Stoicism alternatively values self-critique, correction, and questioning as learning tools on the path to wisdom. As Socrates famously stated, "I know one thing, that I know nothing." Intellectual humility keeps us open-minded. So, while the boastful blowhard craves being the center of attention, shutting down dissent in order to seem important reveals only insecurity and fear. Their posturing rarely persuades others for long. Don't let arrogant types goad you into argument either, just to stroke their own egos. As Epictetus advised, when you argue with someone, you are trying to win. That is useless. Instead, be kind and move on. Preserve energy for more enriching company. 7. The professional victim. We all face setbacks, but some personalities seem to dwell in perpetual victimhood, relentlessly playing the woe is me card for attention, pity, or advantage. There is always some oppressor, bully, condition, or injustice actively keeping them down in their narrative. As Seneca observed, if you really want to escape the things that harass you, what you're needing is not to be in a different place, but to be a different person. Yet professional victims refuse self-responsibility, preferring to blame shift, guilt trip, and manipulate sympathies through the specter of their suffering instead. This gets old fast, as it encourages powerlessness, resentment, entitlement, and paralysis. As Epictetus declared, man is disturbed not by things, but by the views he takes of things. Playing hopeless victim is a choice rejecting personal agency. Marcus Aurelius adds, "Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears." Stoicism focuses on controlling our response by challenging thought patterns keeping us trapped as victims when we have choices. I hope illuminating these 7 problematic personality types Stoicism warns against has been as insightful for you as it has for me lately. While we cannot control difficult people themselves, the Stoic sages remind us that we have complete say in who occupies our time and mind space. We choose whether to set boundaries and limits. Until next time, stay strong, stay true, stay you. How do you handle when people are rude to you? Being treated badly is a common problem we all go through, and it can make you very upset and annoyed. But what if we could learn from the old teachings of Stoicism, which shows us how to deal with hard situations in a wise and calm way? In this video, we'll look at 9 practical Stoic ideas that can help us respond better when people are disrespectful to us. As always, I encourage you to stay strong and keep watching the whole video. Let's get started. Engage in self-reflection. Another big part of Stoicism is self-reflection and self-examination. The Stoics believed the quality of our thoughts shapes the quality of our lives, and we should always try to improve ourselves and our actions. As Marcus Aurelius said, how happy you are depends on the quality of your thoughts. When people are disrespectful to you, it's important to look inward and ask yourself questions like, is there any truth to what this person said or did? Did I do or say anything to provoke this? How can I respond in a way that matches my values and virtues? By objectively examining yourself and the situation, you can better understand what happened and your role in it. This Stoic self-reflection ensures your reactions are based on reasonable judgment rather than impulsive emotions. It helps you learn from the experience and grow in wisdom. Keep your cool. One of the main things Stoicism teaches is that we don't get upset by what happens to us, but by how we think about what happens. As Epictetus said, people get disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. This means disrespect isn't really harmful or offensive on its own. It's our interpretation and judgment of it that makes us feel hurt or mad. So, when someone is rude to you, remember their behavior comes from their own thoughts, feelings, and opinions, not anything about your real value or self-worth. This can help you stay chill and not let their disrespect impact your emotions. Show compassion. Epictetus and other important Stoic thinkers say, don't seek goodness in external things, seek it in yourselves. Stoics believe in the connectedness of people and that understanding others' motivations and feelings can improve interactions and personal growth. When faced with disrespect, Stoicism promotes empathy. Try putting yourself in the other person's position to grasp their perspective. Empathy can help you see the situation from a different angle and realize the disrespect may not be personal or on purpose. It could come from their own insecurities, fears, or ignorance. Empathy can also help you feel compassion for them and lessen negative feelings towards them. By empathizing with the disrespectful person, you can avoid taking their words or actions personally and respond in a more respectful way. Empathy helps you understand their viewpoint, emotions, and motivations. Instead of getting angry or defensive, you can react with kindness and respect. This way, you can avoid escalating the conflict and maintain dignity. Empathy also reflects the Stoic ideals of wisdom, compassion, and self-improvement. It enables you to learn from tough situations and mature as a person. Give yourself a moment. Seneca once said, "Whenever you feel angry, know that you are making a problem worse and strengthening a bad habit." Stoics believe in self-control and clear thinking. They say emotional reactions driven by feelings like anger or annoyance often led to poor choices and additional suffering. When treated disrespectfully, the Stoic way is to avoid reacting without thinking. Instead, pause and collect your thoughts. This pause lets you get control of your emotions so you can respond in a more thoughtful way. By resisting the urge to react right away, you can make your response fit better with Stoic ideals of wisdom and self-control. This approach often leads to more constructive, less emotional interactions when people are disrespectful. Taking a breath is a key Stoic tactic to stay composed so you can make reasonable choices if faced with disrespect, ultimately leading to more positive results and personal growth. Before moving on, count yourself as an exception for making it this far into the video. Your dedication is truly remarkable. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave a comment to help us spread the message. If you are unsure of what to comment, just type Stoic Soul. Now, let's continue. Focus on your character. One main Stoic idea is to develop virtues like wisdom and courage, the qualities that help us live well and act right. Seneca, a famous Stoic, wrote that virtue is the same as reason and logic. This means being virtuous equals to being rational and natural. When people disrespect us, Stoicism says to focus our response on virtue. This doesn't mean we should accept or ignore the disrespect, but that we should react in a way that reflects our Stoic values and morals. By focusing on virtue, we can avoid being driven by emotions, keep our dignity and integrity, and mature as people. Stoicism challenges us to be our best selves, even in tough situations. Embrace what you can't control. One key Stoic lesson is to accept things not in our control, like others' disrespect. Epictetus said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things he does not have, but rejoices for those he does have." This means we should be grateful for what we have instead of worrying about what we lack. Stoicism also teaches us to differentiate what we can control from what we can't, called the Stoic dichotomy of control. We can only control our own thoughts, feelings, and actions, not external events or others' behavior. Therefore, when faced with disrespect, we shouldn't let it disturb our peace. Instead, we should accept it as part of life and focus on what we can do to improve ourselves and the situation. By stoically accepting disrespect, we can avoid unnecessary anger, annoyance, and resentment. We can also learn from the experience and grow. This helps us deal with disrespect in a logical, calm way. Embrace humor. Sometimes a good laugh helps a lot. As the old philosopher Seneca said, "You have mastered yourself when you know how to handle what you should not take seriously." Stoicism teaches us to control our emotions and act logically, but it also sees the value of comedy in dealing with tough situations. Humor can help us keep our cool and avoid getting too angry or annoyed when disrespected. Instead of letting our feelings get the best of us, we can choose to respond with a witty line or playful joke. Of course, comedy should not be used wrongly or too much, but it can be a useful Stoic way to handle disrespect that leads to a more positive, peaceful result. Set boundaries. Stoicism isn't about being a pushover, it's about being firm, like a mountain that stands strong in the face of the wind. When disrespected, you don't have to take it lying down or lash out in anger. You can be calm and straightforward. You can tell them what they did wrong and how you expect to be treated. You can set clear, fair boundaries that protect your dignity and self-respect. This is what Stoicism teaches. It teaches us to be strong, fair, and brave. It teaches us to respect ourselves and others. It teaches us to keep inner control and outer dignity in any circumstance. Choose to let go. Imagine someone disrespects you. How do you react? Do you get angry or let it go? Ancient Stoic wisdom offers insight. Stoics believe forgiveness is not a favor to the other person, but a gift to yourself. Forgiveness is key to inner calm and joy, but it's not easy. It doesn't mean forgetting or approving what occurred. It means choosing to release the negative emotions that hurt you more than anyone. Stoics say to forgive all, but not blindly. Forgive wisely, with care and fairness. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. We can't control others' actions, but we control our responses. We can opt to forgive and free ourselves from the weight of anger and bitterness. We can choose to move forward with inner peace. That's what Stoicism means by forgiveness. It's not weakness, but strength. It's not surrender, but victory. It's not sacrifice, but reward. Forgiveness is the ultimate act of self-care and growth. And with that, we come to the end of this video on dealing with disrespect the Stoic way. I hope you found value in these practical principles of Stoicism for coping better when faced with disrespectful behavior. Remember that how you respond is always within your control. Focus on self-improvement, have empathy for others, and don't let their actions disturb your inner peace. Stay strong, stand up for yourself when needed, but also be willing to forgive. Applying these Stoic insights can help transform difficult situations into opportunities for growth. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. The old Roman leader Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Any concept, any bit of interest shapes the person you turn into. Picture yourself but more quick-witted, perceptive, and full of new wisdom as you take this in. It's not an impossible dream, but something real you can grab. And this video will teach you 10 strong Stoic ways to boost your intelligence. Welcome this chance to check out every part of your mind and what you can do. If self-improvement motivates you, please tap the notification bell and subscribe. Let our trip to a smarter you start. The art of change. Change flows through life like a gentle stream, ever shifting, ever renaming the same. As the seasons turn from spring to winter, as inventions transform communication, as recipes evolve with the spices of the day, change is the only constant. And yet, the human spirit often resists this eternal flow, clinging to the familiar shores of yesterday while fearing being swept away by the tides of tomorrow. But the Stoic philosophers saw change not as something to resist, but as a current to be embraced. They saw each bend in the stream as an opportunity to acquire new perspectives. Loss is but change, and change is nature's renewal, pondered Marcus Aurelius, the great emperor-philosopher. And so it is. For when we remain rooted yet flexible like the willow tree, the winds of change strengthen rather than break us. When we open our eyes with curiosity rather than apprehension, each new vista expands our vision. Adaptability is intelligence. Charging forth seeking change for its own sake is folly. Rather, we must let the change find us. But when it does, we must welcome it as a teacher, not an intrusion. See each shift in the status quo as a valuable lesson, and before long, you will find still waters of understanding rippling out in waves of wisdom. The next time you feel the ground moving beneath your feet, do not dig in your heels. Bend, sway, dive deep into the rushing stream. Let it sweep you away to new shores. Change with an open heart and mind, and you will emerge wiser than before. Growing through discomfort. We envision comfort as the familiar, a well-worn bed, a favorite show, a warm hearth on a cold night. Yet the Stoics understood that wisdom lies beyond such cozy refuge. Only in discomfort's company can we fully bloom. When learning new skills like languages or instruments, frustration often compels surrender. But the Stoics saw in difficulty the greatest opportunity for growth. It is while pushing through hard soil that our talents take root and thrive, even as resolve and resilience bud alongside. What stands in the way becomes the way, counseled Marcus Aurelius. The barriers before us are not blockades but stepping stones on the path forward. Reframing discomfort as a privilege instead of a detriment lends its strength to our journey. The next time adversity arises, recall this Stoic virtue. Lean into discontent and know that by lifting each weight, we elevate not just our skills, but our spirits. Through distress, we cultivate new gifts and shape a sturdier self. Discomfort bears the fruits of wisdom. The wisdom of stepping back. We often hear about the necessity of engagement at work, in relationships, and beyond. But what about its counterpart? The Stoics prized the profound value of deliberate disengagement, purposefully stepping back from the usual grind to renew perspective and revive the mind. Think of a painter focused on their canvas for hours. Sometimes the best way to see the full picture is to take a break, relax their eyes, and return with fresh vision. Similarly, periodic disengagement lets our minds approach problems with new energy and insight. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, observed that people seek escapes, a countryside home, the seashore, the mountains. Yet true retreat isn't physical, he continued, but rather finding space within ourselves, away from external demands. In our non-stop world, deliberately unplugging seems counterintuitive, yet offers great rewards. It's not abandoning duties, but rather allotting mindful moments to disconnect, reflect, and simply be. This could mean a phone-free walk, breathing exercises, or tech-free activities. By integrating intentional disengagement, we give our minds room to process, open space for growth. It's a pendulum swing to balance out modern life's constant stimulation, helping us tap into deeper wisdom. As you navigate today's pace, remember the power of stepping back, if briefly, to rediscover clarity and purpose. Deliberate disengagement lets the mind thrive. The unending journey of learning. Graduation sparks the belief that schooling has ended, but for the Stoics, it marks the commencement of boundless learning. Each new sunrise brings chances to grow our knowledge and comprehend the world on deeper levels. This lifelong learning isn't about piling up degrees. It's about nourishing an endless curiosity and hunger to understand. Consider a child's wonder when they explore something novel. Their eyes shine with intrigue, questions flow, imagination ignites. As adults, it's easy to lose this magical spark amid life's routines. But what if we rekindled that sense of fascination? What if we greeted each moment with anticipation of insight? Only the educated are free, Epicurus said. This freedom emerges not from diplomas, but from broadening our mental horizons, from relentlessly seeking wisdom wherever it blooms. When we see life itself as a classroom, we ready ourselves to traverse its complexities with poise. In this digital era, fountains of knowledge abound through podcasts, documentaries, online courses, and more. But true learning isn't simple consumption. It integrates what we glean into how we think and act. It shapes our character so we may touch the lives of others. As you move forward through uncertain terrain, Remember that each twist opens new chambers of understanding. Embrace this never-ending journey of discovery, and your vision will stretch beyond horizons you've yet to imagine. Gratitude, a gateway to wisdom. At first, gratitude appears as just an emotion, a passing feeling when someone is kind. But the Stoics saw it as something more, a practice and mindset revealing life's deeper lessons. Gratitude attunes us to value in each instant, interaction, and challenge. When we're grateful, we become eager students to life's teachings. Instead of focusing on what we lack, we find riches in what we have, gaining new perspectives. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." This encourages us to meet each moment with awe and curiosity. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to fixate on what's next and take the present for granted. But cultivating gratitude grounds us in the now, helping us grow more reflective and discerning wisdom's quiet presence. Whether it's a child's laughter, a lesson from failure, or a glorious sunset, gratitude amplifies our ability to learn and expand. As you traverse life's landscape, pause often to give thanks, not just on holidays or when you succeed, but daily for the profound in the small. For in gratitude, we find not just joy, but a path to ever-unfolding understanding, intelligence, and purpose. The importance of observation. Have you ever watched a leaf dance on the wind, or noticed the intricate frost patterns on a window? While seemingly simple, these moments contain powerful lessons that the Stoics understood well. The magic of mindful observation. Mindful observation moves beyond a glancing look to completely immerse in the present. It's not passive but active participation with our surroundings, where we soak in knowledge from life's vivid details. Time discovers truth, Seneca mused. By observing patiently, truths eventually reveal themselves before our eyes. In our age of distraction, taking time to observe may seem out of place. Yet, in these contemplative spaces, our minds stretch, concepts connect, and comprehension deepens. Whether it's sunlight filtering through swaying leaves, people bustling through a city square, or waves crashing on the shore, our world overflows with insight waiting to be discovered. After all, we have two eyes, so we should observe twice as much as anything else. Each day, take moments to observe mindfully. Push aside digital prompts, quiet your thoughts, and truly see the beauty around you. Here, you will nurture your intelligence in profound and unexpected ways. For when we open our eyes to life's small wonders, we open a window to wisdom. The art of deep listening. We've all been there, sitting with someone, heads nodding, while our minds wander anywhere but the present. Perhaps we're distracted by to-do lists, TV shows, what to eat for dinner. But the Stoics knew a powerful truth, that real intelligence isn't just speaking, but actively listening to understand. Active listening moves past silent politeness. It's about giving full attention, seeking the speaker's genuine perspective. It asks thoughtful questions, practices empathy, and resists quick judgments or responses. When we listen actively, we're not just being kind, we're absorbing insights, grasping different viewpoints, and expanding our mental horizons. Today's world often prizes speedy reactions and clever comebacks, but immense power lies in pausing, listening fully, and reflecting. Practicing active listening enhances our bonds and our wisdom. We become more informed, empathetic, and connected to the world around us. So, next time you find yourself in discussion, challenge yourself to deeply listen. You may be surprised at what you discover when you give your full attention. True intelligence knows when it is time to speak and when it is time to hear. Finding insight in silence. Our world pulses with sound, phones buzzing, chatter humming, distractions screaming for notice. Rarely do we find true quiet. Yet the Stoics knew that these wordless spaces, where we disconnect from noise and reconnect with our inner voice, hold power. Silence is not mere absence of sound. It is a sanctuary where our thoughts come home, where we meet our deepest wisdom. Free from constant input, our minds expand, contemplating and cultivating insight. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality, Seneca observed. Much anxiety stems from manufactured fears and exaggerated scenarios. Silence helps us detach from this mental spiral and recognize the difference between real threats and imagined ones. Seeking silence may seem difficult when life demands non-stop engagement, but we needn't escape the world, simply balance. Just a few daily minutes on a walk or before bed can sharpen intelligence and steady the soul. In this age of distraction, purposefully embrace the power of quiet. Pause, breathe, let your thoughts ripen in tranquility. Here, gain clarity, understanding, and a deeper bond with your inner light. For when we mute the outside noise, inner truth rises up to meet us. The value of diversity. Few things enrich like engaging with people from vastly different walks of life. Every background carries unique realms of knowledge and experience. The Stoics knew true intelligence blooms not just from books or quiet contemplation, but from interfacing with society's vivid mosaic. Consider, each conversation holds potential insight, whether it's discussing hometowns with a barista, debating departments with a colleague, or hearing grandparents' youthful stories. Interactions reveal new angles on life. Associate with people likely to improve you, Seneca advised. Yet, while guidance from experts matters, sometimes the most unexpected sources offer the deepest wisdom. Openness to diverse interactions exposes us to a spectrum of perspectives, stories, and ideas. This doesn't mean chatting up everyone you meet, but rather embracing curiosity about all people, regardless of status or background. Each person contains boundless lessons. In a world where echo chambers thrive, seeking diversity takes courage and intention, but it rewards richly. Listen to people's tales, ask thoughtful questions, share your own experiences. Each encounter holds potential to stretch your thinking and enrich your character. By exploring the mosaic of humanity, we not only understand life more fully, but watch our own intelligence ripen in profound and unexpected ways. Curiosity over judgment. We're quick to judge in this digital era. With a swipe, we decide what we like, whom to follow, what to ignore. But what if we paused judgment and chose curiosity instead? Stoicism says, cultivating curiosity expands our intelligence and world understanding. Curiosity is a muscle. The more we flex it, the stronger it grows. Approaching life openly lets us learn and stretch. Instead of dismissing unfamiliar things, we ask questions and seek to understand. This broadens horizons, builds empathy and compassion. It's impossible to learn what you think you already know, Epictetus said wisely. When we believe we have all the answers, we close off from vital knowledge waiting to be discovered. Curiosity admits our understanding is limited, keeping us forever students of life. It's easy nowadays to get distracted and miss what's around us, but choosing curiosity over rushing to judge sets us free. We engage the world more completely, gleaning fresh perspectives that enrich the mind in unexpected ways. Next time something unfamiliar crosses your path, pause judgment and let curiosity lead. Open your mind, ask questions, understand context. Here is where intelligence grows. For when we look with eyes of curiosity rather than assumptions, we catch glimmers of wisdom we might otherwise miss. In our exploration of Stoic wisdom, one truth shines clear. The journey toward intelligence has no final destination. Like the seasons, understanding is a continuous cycle. It deepens by embracing change, finding balance, and cultivating curiosity and empathy over judgment. The Stoics knew that expanding knowledge cannot be rushed. It grows through patience, diverse interactions, and seeking lessons in unexpected places. It flourishes by training awareness to discover insight tucked within ordinary moments. On the Stoic path, sharpness of mind is not a fixed target, but a lifelong honing of perception's blade. With courage and openness as our guides, we can greet every sunrise ready to question assumptions, expand vision beyond old horizons, and unlock more of life's boundless mysteries. The landscape ahead remains uncharted, but armed with timeless Stoic wisdom, we stand equipped to navigate it. As you walk into each new dawn, remember that the goal lies not in approaching some final enlightenment, but in embracing the journey of discovery itself, one mindful step after another. Leadership is hard. The pressures, the stakes, the judgment, it can grind even the best of us down. Haven't we all questioned whether we have what it takes? But what if thousands of years ago, some philosophers had unlocked the secrets to mastering leadership in any era? The ancient Stoics lived through political chaos and social upheaval, yet they produced some of history's most respected leaders by developing principles focused on self-mastery, virtue, and service. Their wisdom helped leaders excel while also benefiting the lives of countless followers. Could this knowledge help us tackle leadership challenges in the modern day? By the end of this video, you will have learned how to master the art of leadership. Be strong and watch until the end. Let's begin. 1. Leading with virtue. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of cultivating virtue in oneself before seeking to lead others. As the Roman Stoic Seneca stated, the first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. For Stoics, the key virtues that every leader should develop are wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. By focusing on self-mastery, a Stoic leader strives to make reasoned judgments between good and evil, treat others fairly regardless of status, overcome fear in the face of adversity, and exemplify restraint and self-control. A wise, just, courageous, and disciplined leader earns genuine authority and respect. Their character and actions set the tone for the whole community. Seneca argued that true leaders show the way through their consistency and wholeness of virtue, rather than just telling others what to do. They teach by example. Moreover, Stoic leadership begins from the inside out. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The only wealth which you will keep forever is the wealth you have given away." By living temperately and overcoming the fear of loss, a Stoic leader is freed from greed and acquires the inner peace to think clearly about matters of justice and the greater good. They can then make decisions impartially, untainted by self-interest or ego. In short, the Stoic path of self-mastery allows one to lead with virtue across the board. By conquering the enemy within, keeping passions in check, and acting from wisdom and justice, a Stoic sets a powerful moral example. They can become a force for good, whose influence extends far beyond themselves. This is the essence of enlightened Stoic leadership. 2. Embracing adversity. A core principle of Stoic philosophy is welcoming adversity and using it to improve oneself. As Seneca declared, Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Stoic leaders take this to heart in their approach to dealing with setbacks and hardships. Rather than seeing obstacles as problems to be avoided, the Stoic mindset frames them as chances to build mental toughness, wisdom, and leadership skills. While adversity can sometimes be avoided, more often it is an inevitable part of life. As Shakespeare wrote, "Sweet are the uses of adversity which, like the toad, ugly and venomous, wears yet a precious jewel in his head." How does a Stoic leader thrive in times of crisis and turmoil? First, by staying grounded in the present moment, rather than being angered by what cannot be controlled. By being adaptable and focusing energy on constructive action rather than complaint. By welcoming criticism and feedback in order to strengthen strategy and decisions going forward. As Marcus Aurelius put it, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, overcoming adversity is a chance to forge new paths and cultivate excellence. It keeps a leader sharp, humble, and resilient. By maintaining composure and resolve in the stormiest of seas, a Stoic leader becomes a beacon for those they guide. They understand that true leadership means having the courage to face trials, learn from failures, and emerge wiser. Storms, while difficult to endure, can make resilient roots. This mindset allows Stoics to embrace adversity as a powerful teacher on the journey towards self-mastery. 3. Leading with clarity. A central theme across Stoic philosophy is the importance of living with purpose and conviction. As Marcus Aurelius concisely put it, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." This mindset of decisive clarity is key for effective Stoic leadership. Unlike those who endlessly debate abstract ideals or get lost in trivial pursuits, a Stoic leader aims to determine their core values and priorities. By engaging in self-reflection and simplifying life down to fundamentals, they develop an inner compass to guide their judgments and actions. Stoic clarity of purpose manifests in several leadership traits. First, the ability to make timely decisions without constant overthinking or self-doubt. Confidence stems from knowing one's own mind. Second, resilience against distractions and frivolities that derail progress. Stoic self-control breaks the cycle of restless distraction. Third, leading by example, living one's principles fully and coherently, rather than merely lecturing others. Walking the walk, not just talking the talk. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire while embodying Stoic ideals amidst war, plagues, disasters. His meditations exude clarity regarding human nature, virtue, service. By controlling his perceptions and separating the trivial from the essential, he formulated clear policies and objectives that reinforced stability when crisis was imminent. In any era, leaders who cultivate Stoic purpose and self-mastery can amplify their effectiveness and become anchors amidst surrounding storms. With inner clarity comes the wisdom and authority that people instinctively look for in admirable leaders. Purpose fuels resilience and tenacity. In the words of Zeno, the original Stoic founder, man conquers the world by conquering himself. 4. Cultivating compassion. Stoic philosophy champions self-control, but balances it with compassion. As Dale Carnegie noted, channeling Stoic wisdom, the best way to win an argument is to avoid it. Stoic leaders embrace empathy, understanding, and social harmony over egoistic conflict. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "People exist for one another. You can instruct or endure them." This underscores the Stoic view that as social beings, cooperation and compassion are human duties we owe one another. Consequently, Stoicism calls on leaders to overcome pride and short-sightedness by genuinely listening and seeking to relate to the concerns of others. Leaders who fail to be compassionate often breed toxicity by damaging mutual understanding. Their aggressive self-interest can fragment group cohesion. In contrast, by suspending hasty judgments, giving people the benefit of doubt, and finding common ground, a Stoic leader can convert enemies into friends. As Lincoln observed, "I destroy my enemies when I make them my friends." There is great power in leading with compassion. Business case studies confirm that organizations with empathetic cultures outperform the profit-at-any-cost model. Moreover, in policymaking, the role of understanding different viewpoints prevents extremism and improves decisions. Even in times of crisis, compassion saves lives, such as the hospitals in shattered post-war regions that nonetheless maintain stellar care by fostering emotional resilience within teams. In short, the Stoic ethic of clear-minded compassion brings out the greatest strengths in groups and systems. It offers leaders an ethical blueprint for earning widespread trust and galvanizing collective action for the greater good. And as the sage Hillel put it, "Be of the disciples of Aaron, loving peace and pursuing peace, loving others and drawing them near to Torah." The Stoics unlocked the code to exemplary leadership long ago by focusing inwards on self-mastery, leading with virtue, and clarifying one's purpose. A Stoic leader uplifts not only themselves, but their followers as well. As we navigate turbulent times in the modern world, Stoicism's wisdom is more relevant than ever. Take the first step and make the choice today to lead with courage, justice, wisdom, and temperance. Conquer the enemy within, and you can lead others to conquer the world. Now go and lead your people. The future is yours to shape. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise. Have you ever heard the saying, "Don't set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm"? It's a powerful reminder connected to ancient Stoic wisdom about the importance of balancing kindness with self-care. Yet, in today's rush to be seen as good, to always be the one who gives, many have twisted the noble act of kindness into a self-destructive habit. We are often told to go above and beyond, to push our limits for the sake of others. But at what cost? The truth is, too much kindness, when it drains your own resources, energy, and well-being, is not a virtue, but a path to ruin. Many have lost their way, giving so much of themselves that they're left feeling empty, unappreciated, and burned out. It's a modern-day tragedy where the best of intentions lead to the worst of outcomes. Stoicism shows us another way, a way to be generous without losing oneself, a way to be kind, but also kind to oneself. It teaches us the art of balanced generosity, ensuring our actions enrich others' lives while also safeguarding our own well-being. In this video, we'll explore how to balance kindness with self-care, guided by the ancient wisdom of Stoicism. Stoics teach us not to overgive to the point of depletion. Too much kindness can leave you empty, like setting yourself on fire to warm others. 1. Guard your own flame before warming someone else's. Stoics teach us not to overgive to the point of depletion. Too much kindness can leave you empty. Marcus Aurelius, a renowned Stoic, cautioned against this. He knew that overgiving drains our own reserves, leaving us unable to care for ourselves or genuinely help others. We must nurture our own well-being first before uplifting others. The path lies in the middle. Give when you can, but set healthy boundaries. Be present for others, but don't disappear from your own life. Stoicism guides us to spread good sustainably by protecting our inner fire so it may warm many without burning out. This is the fine line we'll explore, generosity with self-preservation. By walking this moderate road, our care becomes a source of strength rather than depletion for ourselves and others alike. Think about two gardeners who lived next to each other. One took great care of their own garden, while the other often helped out with everyone else's. The first gardener, knowing how important it is to take care of oneself, made sure to give their garden just the right amount of attention and resources. As a result, their garden was full of life and abundance. Not only did it bring them joy, but it also produced extra crops to share with neighbors. On the other hand, the second gardener was so busy helping others that they neglected their own garden. Without proper care, it started to wither, and they hardly got anything from it. In their eagerness to assist others, they forgot about their own needs, leaving their garden and themselves feeling drained. This story teaches us to think twice before jumping into helping others. We should ask ourselves, is this help sustainable? Am I taking care of myself too? The ancient Stoics would remind us to practice self-care and set boundaries. After all, you can't help others if you're running on empty. Stoicism teaches us to keep our inner peace and integrity intact while still being there for others, creating a balanced and fulfilling life for everyone involved. 2. The ephemerality of reciprocity. Being generous is a good thing that brings joy to our lives and the lives of those around us. But if we're too generous without moderation, it can backfire. Stoicism, an old philosophy that still makes sense in today's busy world, teaches us an important lesson about being kind. Helping others with a pure heart is noble, but expecting the same kindness in return can lead to disappointment. Life sometimes forgets the good deeds we do, not because they weren't valuable, but because that's just how human memory works. Imagine giving as planting a tree. You nurture it, hoping it'll grow and provide shade or fruit someday. But just like nature has its ups and downs with storms and changing seasons, so does kindness. When we're kind, we shouldn't expect people to give back right away. The Stoics, like Epictetus, tell us to focus on what we can control, our actions, instead of worrying about what others do. This mindset helps us handle the disappointment when others don't return our kindness. By embracing this way of thinking, we shield ourselves from feeling let down. We learn to keep being kind without expecting anything in return. It's not about closing ourselves off, but finding a balance. Our kindness shows who we are, not what we can get from others. This Stoic idea reminds us to be generous but smart about it, making sure our kindness makes us happy no matter how others react. 3. Requests know no bounds. Delving into history, one finds fascination in observing the extravagant demands imposed by royalty, from intricate dressing rituals to meticulous personal hygiene. Transitioning to the present day, it becomes obvious that societal expectations persist, oftentimes placing burdensome requests upon us, even for tasks well within one's capability. Stoicism illuminates this aspect, imparting the wisdom of delineating boundaries and embracing moderation. This ancient philosophy stands as a guiding light amidst the deluge of incessant demands, empowering individuals to act deliberately and safeguard their emotional equilibrium. Stoicism does not advocate for the refusal of assistance, but rather advocates for equilibrium, ensuring that while we extend support to others, we do not lose sight of our own essence. Consider, for instance, the poignant narrative of a mother and her grown daughter in a tranquil hamlet. Driven by affection, The mother rendered boundless care to her daughter, inadvertently hindering her journey towards self-reliance. The mother's demise, however, unexpectedly catalyzed the daughter's quest for independence, underscoring the perils of excessive support, stifling personal growth. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, articulated the imperative of self-sufficiency, affirming that one's duty is to stand independently, not to rely perpetually on others for support. This edict urges us to foster self-reliance, fostering a harmonious balance that enriches all parties involved. Seneca, renowned for his profound insights into human connections, astutely noted that friendships forged solely on the basis of utility are often temporary, ceasing when the benefit fades. This admonition serves as a potent reminder to nurture genuine relationships grounded in authenticity rather than transactional exchanges. Stoicism imparts the invaluable lesson of valuing oneself not for material contributions, but for intrinsic worth, nurturing self-esteem and fostering genuine connections. By embracing moderation and delineating boundaries to safeguard our well-being, we engage in acts of generosity imbued with authenticity and purpose. This holistic approach to life and relationships ensures alignment with our core values, fostering a life characterized by virtue and fulfillment amidst the complexities of contemporary existence. Let us not misconstrue attentiveness to our own needs as selfishness, but rather as an indispensable facet of self-preservation and self-care. 4. Being perceived as weak. Stoicism imparts a profound lesson on cultivating inner strength and self-mastery. It means building an internal stronghold, refining the art of self-control, and delineating clear boundaries that safeguard our personal sovereignty. Paradoxically, consistently bending over backwards for others can result in being viewed as feeble. In the absence of resolute boundaries, we become vulnerable, susceptible to exploitation by those who interpret our kindness not as a virtue, but as an opportunity for their own benefit. This cycle of stretching ourselves thin drains us, leaving us feeling undervalued and burdened. However, upon assertively asserting our boundaries, a transformation occurs. We cease to be the default solution for every demand or request. This assertion communicates a newfound self-respect, signaling to others that we honor our time and energy, thereby earning their respect in return. Cicero, a luminary in Stoic philosophy, eloquently expressed this sentiment when he said, "The opinion you hold of yourself carries greater weight than the opinions of others." Through the establishment of boundaries and the exercise of self-discipline, we safeguard not only our mental and emotional well-being, but also command respect from those around us. Embrace the transformative power of no. It is an affirmation of self-value and a proclamation of the esteem you demand from the world. Embracing this ethos will catalyze a reshaping of the dynamics within your relationships, fostering mutual respect rooted in dignity and self-worth. Nevertheless, embracing this change is not an easy task. Being universally accessible often attracts those seeking assistance, relegating us to the sidelines when celebrations arise. It is a sobering reality where our openness may result in exclusion from moments of joy, relegating us to the role of the perpetual helper, absent during leisurely pursuits. However, this realization, though sobering, serves as a test for discerning authentic connections from opportunistic ones. It constitutes a Stoic exercise in acknowledging the genuine value of relationships, advocating for a mindful allocation of our time and energy. If you have learned anything of value so far, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to spread the message. Now, I'm going to give you some advice to avoid having your kindness exploited by others. My first advice for you is to say no. This small word carries a lot of weight. It traces back to when we were young and taught that being kind means always going along with what others want. Those early lessons stuck with us and made us scared of rejection if we don't comply. They linked our self-worth to constant agreement. However, Stoic philosophy urges us to challenge those old assumptions. It pushes us to make conscious choices instead of just blindly following old patterns from childhood. As adults now, we can redefine how we interact with people. We can face the fears drilled into us as kids and realize they shouldn't control us anymore. Stoicism gives us tools to analyze our emotions so we can respond thoughtfully instead of just reacting. By putting up boundaries and saying no when asked for things that hurt our well-being or fairness, we break free of those old fears. We show self-respect and independent thought. We no longer let outdated conditioning run our lives. My second advice for you is to pay attention to your feelings. Embracing Stoicism means looking inward at our thoughts and emotions to build resilience. This old wisdom tells us to guard our inner calm by watching how we react, especially when helping others. It teaches that real fulfillment from aiding people should lift our spirits. Think of the lightness of clouds, but feelings of fatigue, annoyance, or being used are signs we need to adjust. It's key to notice when our giving, even if not required, starts draining our peace. Admitting this unease is not lying to ourselves, but bravely caring for our needs. It ensures our kindness keeps sparking joy rather than exhausting our soul. The goal is sustainable generosity, giving from the heart in a way that replenishes rather than depletes us. By staying present with our emotions, we can spread goodwill and also honor our own well-being. My third advice for you is to prioritize yourself. It's easy to succeed in obscure areas while completely ignoring our own wellness. Echoing Stoic values of discipline and self-worth, making time for self-care is vital. At its core, Stoicism nourishes the soul, teaching the wisdom of self-preservation. So avoid self-neglect. Nurture your physical, emotional, and mental health. Notice your own needs and make them a priority. This takes real commitment on your part. Accept yourself fully, forgive past mistakes, and see the coming year as a chance for Stoic renewal. Pick a hobby just for your own joy, treating this period as an occasion for self-love. Keep your boundaries without guilt by saying no to requests that impose on your personal space. Help others within your limits, emphasizing that your revitalization takes precedence. The goal is equilibrium. Care for others, but first fill your own cup. Stoicism balances outward generosity with inward self-nourishment. My fourth advice is to identify those who take advantage of you. Embracing Stoic values like self-control and insight helps us distinguish which relationships nourish us versus those that drain us. Interacting with people who always want more, whether it's time, attention, or help, creates a dynamic where we give endlessly while they take. This leaves us depleted. Stoicism stresses building inner strength. It reminds us that real change is a personal journey. We can't transform others through sheer good intentions alone. This philosophy doesn't promote cold-heartedness, but champions a balanced approach to relationships. Too much generosity can leave us empty, while stinginess isolates us. Stoicism says tap into kindness, but also discernment, letting go of toxic ties when needed to protect our energy. The goal is equilibrium, ensuring our giving doesn't sap our own vitality. The healthiest connections allow both people to flourish, not just one to take at the expense of the other. Stoicism prompts us to find that balance. It asks us to thoughtfully weigh our actions and their effects. The emphasis is on maintaining harmony in how much we give, not draining our reserves yet also not being selfish. The recipe is wise generosity, giving sustainably from our overflow to enrich others while still nourishing ourselves. Seneca, a prominent figure in Stoic philosophy, encapsulates this principle beautifully. Kindness is a treasure, a benefit to be safeguarded like buried treasure, to be unearthed only when necessary. His words inspire us to be prepared to act benevolently toward others, recognizing the profound bond that unites all humanity. There you have it, the wisdom of the Stoics on balancing kindness with self-care. The goal of the Stoic path is equilibrium. Give what you can, protect what you must. Spread good in the world while guarding your inner light. Thank you for watching. If you gained something from this, don't forget to like and subscribe. I would also love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Until next time, stay strong, stay true, and spread that balanced generosity. What if I told you that the answers to almost every problem people face today are found in lessons from over 2,000 years ago? Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're not just talking about philosophy, we're sharing life-changing secrets. In this journey, we'll reveal 10 important lessons from Stoicism. These are timeless truths that many people realize too late in life. These lessons aren't just ideas, they're practical tools to help deal with life's hardest challenges, like controlling emotions, dealing with big changes, understanding what real success means, and finding inner peace. I want to encourage you to stick around until the end. Each lesson we're going to talk about is equally important, and the last one might be the most surprising and life-changing of them all. It's something a lot of us don't pay enough attention to, a lesson that could completely change the way you see things. So, if you're looking for answers, personal growth, or just a different way to look at life, you're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on this enlightening journey. Let's get started. First lesson: embracing the inevitable. Let's take a momentary journey back to the bustling streets of ancient Rome, where Stoicism thrived. Philosophers like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius grasped the pointlessness of worrying over life's uncontrollables. They conveyed the idea that while we lack authority over the weather, time, or others' actions, we can regulate our responses, thoughts, and choices. Transitioning to the present day, this lesson retains its significance in our highly interconnected world, saturated with information and endless expectations. Recognizing what lies within our influence isn't just a sign of wisdom, it's a vital survival tactic. How can we implement this age-old insight in our contemporary lives? It commences with a simple yet profound shift in mindset. When confronted with adversity, inquire, can I influence this situation? If not, visualize releasing it like a balloon into the sky. This mental exercise isn't about surrendering, it's about allocating our energy wisely. It's akin to tending to the plants in our garden instead of attempting to halt the rain. I recall a time when I found myself stuck in traffic, fretting over an impending meeting. It struck me then. Traffic was beyond my control, no matter how fervently I desired otherwise. However, I could manage my response. Thus, I drew a deep breath, tuned into soothing melodies, and utilized the time to mentally gear up for the meeting ahead. Second lesson: the influence of outlook. Stoicism underscores that it's not the occurrences themselves that unsettle us, but rather our interpretation of these occurrences. Envision two individuals caught in a downpour. One bemoans the rain, while the other relishes the soothing melody of raindrops. Identical scenario, divergent viewpoints. Stoic sages like Epictetus stress our capacity to select our outlook. It's not the events themselves, but our responses to them that hold significance. This insight transcends time. In our contemporary era, rife with unforeseen hurdles and swift transformations, the ability to alter our perspective isn't merely advantageous, it's imperative for preserving mental equilibrium and fortitude. So, how can we wield this ability in our everyday lives? It commences with a deliberate pause. When faced with a trial, take a moment to step back. Pose the question, is there an alternative lens through which to view this? Just as a photographer seeks the optimal angle for a photograph, we can seek a more empowering standpoint. For instance, perceiving a job loss not as defeat, but as an occasion to pursue a passion or acquire new expertise. This change in perspective can metamorphose obstacles into opportunities. Third lesson, embrace the present moment. Stoicism urges us to ground ourselves in the present. The here and now is the realm of existence, where happiness is experienced and where serenity resides. It's a concept often grasped belatedly as individuals reflect on their lives and recognize the moments missed due to a lack of true presence. Ancient Stoics, such as Marcus Aurelius, comprehended the fleeting essence of time. They understood that fixating on the past or fretting over the future is akin to attempting to grasp water. It's futile and yields nothing. Aurelius articulated, "Do not squander the remaining portion of your life in contemplation of others. Find contentment in the present." His wisdom resonates profoundly in today's fast-paced society, where our minds frequently wander away from the present moment, depriving us of its essence. How do we integrate this into our daily existence? It commences with mindfulness, the practice of wholeheartedly engaging in our current activities, devoid of distraction or judgment. It could be as simple as relishing your morning cup of coffee, fully participating in a conversation, or reveling in the warmth of sunlight on your skin. Through presence, we grant ourselves the privilege of experiencing life's full richness and splendor as it unfolds. Fourth lesson, personal mastery and ethical conduct. In a world teeming with allurements and expedients, Stoicism beckons us to a loftier standard, to become sovereign over ourselves. This dominion isn't about constriction, it's about emancipation. It entails exercising self-restraint and harmonizing our deeds with our core principles. The Stoics were well acquainted with life's trials. They understood that lasting contentment doesn't lie in external commendations or possessions, but in nurturing inner virtues. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, espoused that true freedom and tranquility stem not from indulging our desires, but from governing them. In today's milieu, this lesson reverberates louder than ever in a time where diversions lurk at our fingertips and ethical ambiguities proliferate. The imperative of cultivating self-discipline and upholding integrity cannot be overstated. So, how do we infuse these virtues into the fabric of our daily existence? It commences with incremental, unwavering actions, opting to rise early for a morning jog, even when the allure of the bed is strong, selecting a nourishing meal over a tempting, unhealthy option, making choices that resonate with our values, even when they're not the most convenient or popular. These instances of discipline and integrity accrue, fashioning a life imbued with fortitude, integrity, and contentment. Fifth lesson, embrace transformation. While many approach change with trepidation or reluctance, Stoicism encourages us to perceive it as a conduit for growth and possibility. This age-old doctrine teaches us that change is not merely unavoidable, but serves as fertile ground for the emergence of fresh opportunities. Stoic luminaries like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca were intimately acquainted with the unceasing flow of change. They observed the immutable cycle of seasons and the rise and fall of civilizations, recognizing change as the universe's expression of its inherent dynamism. Aurelius, in his Contemplations, pondered how life is molded largely by our interpretations and responses to change. Stoicism doesn't merely advocate acceptance of change, it advocates its embrace as an old companion, cognizant of the potential it holds for new beginnings. In practical terms, embracing transformation entails regarding every shift in our lives, whether minor or monumental, as an opportunity for self-exploration and growth. It involves uncovering the silver linings in unforeseen circumstances. Lost your job? It presents a chance to pursue a career aligned with your true passions. Ended a relationship? It offers an opportunity to rediscover your inherent strengths and aspirations. By welcoming change, we synchronize ourselves with life's innate rhythm, fostering resilience and adaptability. Sixth lesson, the transience of material pursuits. In a society often fixated on equating success with material wealth and prestige, Stoicism presents a refreshing counterpoint. It instructs us that genuine, enduring contentment doesn't arise from amassing possessions, but rather from nurturing internal abundance. This is a revelation many arrive at belatedly, having devoted years to the relentless pursuit of material acquisitions, only to discover themselves amidst opulence, yet plagued by an indelible sense of void. Stoic thinkers from Seneca to Epictetus comprehended the ephemeral nature of material riches. They observed the rise and fall of fortunes, recognizing that even the most opulent possessions fail to shield individuals from life's inherent capriciousness and trials. Seneca, who tasted both affluence and exile, poignantly remarked that genuine wealth lies not in possessing abundance, but in harboring few desires. In our contemporary age, inundated with advertisements and societal pressures urging us to acquire more, to become more, this Stoic ethos of deriving contentment from simplicity and self-sufficiency resonates more deeply than ever. How do we integrate this insight into our daily lives? It commences with a shift in focus from external accumulation to internal enrichment. It entails discovering delight in modest pleasures, treasuring experiences over possessions, and gauging success not by material possessions, but by the caliber of our character and relationships. It involves acknowledging that while material goods may offer fleeting gratification, enduring satisfaction emanates from a sense of inner tranquility, purpose, and interpersonal bonds. Seventh lesson, emotion management. Contrary to widespread belief, Stoicism doesn't advocate for the outward expression of emotions. Rather, it imparts the skill of comprehending and navigating them effectively. It's a crucial lesson often grasped too tardily. Regulating our emotions isn't about suppressing them, but rather about acknowledging, comprehending, and directing them in constructive pathways. The Stoic philosophers, with their profound insight into human nature, acknowledged emotions as an inherent aspect of our being. Yet they also recognized the havoc unbridled emotions can wreak. Thinkers like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius counseled against being swept away by the tumult of emotions, advising instead to maintain steadfastness and grasp their essence and impact. In today's frenetic and frequently stressful milieu, This Stoic approach to emotions isn't merely sagacious, but imperative. It instructs us to confront life's vicissitudes with equanimity and lucidity. So, how can we implement this in our everyday lives? It commences with self-awareness. Identify your emotions, label them, grasp their catalysts. This consciousness constitutes the initial step toward regulating them. Rather than reacting impulsively, pause and contemplate a response that resonates with your principles and aspirations. Techniques such as controlled breathing, reflective writing, or even engaging in candid discussions can serve as potent aids in processing and comprehending our emotions. Eighth lesson: the significance of individual accountability. Stoicism imparts the wisdom that while we may not govern every facet of our existence, we bear unequivocal responsibility for our deeds and their repercussions. This lesson, often gleaned later in life, underscores a verity many yearn to apprehend sooner, that assuming ownership of our decisions constitutes the bedrock of a life imbued with genuineness and responsibility. Epictetus, who rose from enslavement to become a revered philosopher, propagated that our paramount agency lies in our capacity to dictate our outlook and conduct, irrespective of external circumstances. Marcus Aurelius, a sovereign of Rome, echoed this notion, stressing that our character is an amalgamation of our decisions. In our contemporary world, characterized by a proclivity for assigning blame and externalizing accountability, embracing individual responsibility transcends being merely a Stoic virtue. It emerges as a beacon of resilience and self-empowerment. Ninth lesson: appreciating the value of insight and knowledge. The esteemed Stoic sages exhibited an insatiable thirst for knowledge and a keen eye for life's intricacies. They revered wisdom as the paramount virtue, a guiding light amidst the tumultuous currents of existence. Aurelius, in his renowned work, Meditations, incessantly endeavored to fathom the intricacies of the world and his role within it, employing knowledge as a tool for personal refinement and societal enlightenment. In our contemporary epoch, where information proliferates yet genuine sagacity remains elusive, the Stoic emphasis on discerning wisdom and contemplative scholarship assumes heightened significance. Assimilating this precept into our daily lives necessitates nurturing a spirit of inquisitiveness and a thirst for enlightenment. It entails reveling in the delight of uncovering novel concepts, reflecting upon our life's journey, and striving for profound comprehension. Whether through literature, the natural world, artistic expression, or meaningful discourse, each moment presents an opportunity for enlightenment. 10th lesson: the power of letting go. Stoicism imparts the invaluable lesson that harboring grudges and resentment burdens us like a heavy yoke, impeding our quest for tranquility and contentment. Many come to realize belatedly that forgiveness isn't an act of frailty, but a testament to profound strength, offering a pathway to inner harmony. The Stoic sages comprehended the corrosive impact of wrath and bitterness on the soul. Philosophers such as Epictetus underscored the significance of releasing bitterness, not as a favor to others, but for the preservation of our own well-being. Marcus Aurelius once conveyed, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice." In today's milieu, where grudges endure and absolution is often construed as capitulation, Stoic insights into forgiveness stand as a guiding light of enlightened self-interest and emotional maturity. Embracing forgiveness in our everyday existence entails acknowledging the fallibility inherent in every individual, including ourselves. It entails comprehending that absolution liberates us from the shackles of resentment, enabling us to forge ahead with renewed purpose. whether extending clemency to a friend who erred, a colleague who faltered, or even ourselves for our missteps. Each instance of forgiveness fortifies our character and enhances our capacity for empathy and insight. Stoicism furnishes timeless wisdom to navigate life's trials. These tenets pave the way for a more gratifying and harmonious life. Which other Stoic principles resonate with you? Share your thoughts below. If you found this discourse enlightening, kindly like, share, and subscribe for additional enriching content. Until we meet again, continue to evolve and remain steadfast. What if lasting confidence and resilience arose by turning our inward attention to the wisdom that already resides within? My friends, this journey we take today descends to the depths of self-knowledge, rising gradually with revelations that will refine how you view yourself forever. My challenge for you today is to be strong and watch until the end. The last tip is surely going to surprise you. Defining confidence the Stoic way. What gives some an unflappable sense of confidence to pursue their potential regardless of external circumstances? The ancient philosophy of Stoicism has insightful answers, identifying confidence as a state of mind rooted in self-awareness, acceptance, and belief in one's capabilities. As Epictetus declared, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react those matters." Confidence springs from the self-discipline to shape your perspectives, judgments, and definitions of personal abilities. By focusing inward, external chaos no longer destabilizes you. As Marcus Aurelius affirmed, confidence comes not from always being right, but from not fearing to be wrong. It stems from owning our imperfections and power to always learn and improve. The bedrock of confidence also comes from recognizing past resilience. Seneca stated, "We suffer more from imagination than reality." In reflecting on overcome struggles, recognize you likely imagined worst-case scenarios far harsher than what actually happened. Recall the progress made, obstacles conquered, and growth achieved through determined perseverance. Use the physical proof of your internal grit as evidence of your preparedness for facing future unknowns confidently. Essentially, the Stoic sages advise that confidence rests on our relationship to ourselves rather than outside validation. Unlike ego's fragile security, genuine confidence remains unruffled by criticism. Setbacks become managed possibilities to refine skills, wisdom gained. We control judgments, responses, and beliefs, comprising our self-perception. In mastering these facets lies the key to unlocking lasting, unshakable confidence from within. Nurturing confidence through self-compassion. The Stoics understood a key confidence killer: harsh self-criticism. When we verbally abuse ourselves over imperfections, our psyche believes this self-directed violence, attacking our self-assurance. As Marcus Aurelius cautioned, "Such as are your habitual thoughts, such also will be the character of your mind." We must vigilantly monitor our self-talk. Seneca advised framing setbacks with self-compassion instead of self-blame. We should every night call ourselves to account. What infirmity have I mastered today? What passions opposed? What temptation resisted? What virtue acquired? This breeds encouragement through progress made rather than demoralization over flaws remaining. Epictetus similarly reminded, "It is not events themselves that disturb people, but only their judgments about those events." When encountering failures, separate the deed from your value. Reflect on lessons gained for refinement. Your worthiness is never contingent on performance. Expect imprecision while seeking excellence. As Seneca wrote, "No man was ever wise by chance." Wisdom matures confidence over time through applied experience. Cultivating confidence requires training the inner voice to celebrate strengths formed on the journey thus far, not dwell on areas still developing. We are always emerging. As Aurelius affirmed, because your own strength is unequal to the task, do not assume that it is beyond the powers of man. But if anything is within the powers and province of man, believe that it is within your own compass also. Believe in your growing potential, expanding confidence by stepping outside your comfort zone. The Stoics were huge proponents of seeking discomfort to forge strength of character. As Seneca wrote, "It is in times of security that the spirit should be preparing itself to deal with difficult times. While fortune is bestowing favors on it, then is the time for it to be strengthened against her rebuffs." Avoid complacency by intentionally exiting your familiarity bubble. Welcome new challenges that require growing into an expanded version of yourself. As Aurelius declared, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Frustration is reassurance you are progressing. Each discomfort passed increases knowledge of your capabilities. Do not make assumptions about the limits of your abilities without repeatedly testing them. As Epictetus advised, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. If confident in a future version of yourself, dedicating yourself to those difficult disciplines becomes possible. Let an envisioned potential drive your present. The comfort zone confines our concept of identity. However, as Epictetus stated, we are always getting ready to live, but never living. True living and true confidence requires risk-taking. Feel fear, yet act anyway. With practice, confidence in your inner resources to handle uncertainty will grow. You are far more powerful than you imagine. Keep expanding boundaries of what you believe yourself able of, fostering unshakable confidence through a growth mindset. Modern psychology reinforces Stoic messaging on the importance of viewing abilities and intellect as continually developing rather than fixed. The Romans asserted that the rigid mind fractures, the pliable mind strengthens under pressure. Aurelius noted, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Ensure thoughts remain flexible, stretched toward improvement. Welcome critique as an advising friend, illuminating blind spots for refinement rather than interpreting criticism as confirmation of permanent inadequacy. Epictetus encouraged, "An ignorant person is inclined to blame others for his own misfortune. To blame oneself, on the contrary, is proof of progress." Let setbacks prompt self-inquiry, not self-blame. Furthermore, frame adversity itself as a vehicle for evolution. Seneca asserted, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Hardships transform helpless spectators into empowered architects, engineering better futures through fortified wisdom." Most importantly, reference history's greats who battled relentless trials, repeatedly reinventing themselves. Cicero noted, "Not to know what happened before you were born is to remain forever a child." Find strength, recalling those who suffered greatly on paths culminating in lasting cultural contribution. If they never forfeited hope, neither should you. Cultivating confidence through physical and mental self-care. The Stoics connected confidence to operating at peak capacity across physical, emotional, and psychological dimensions. As Seneca stated, "A healthy mind should reside in a healthy body." Feed vitality to your body, clarity to your mind, inspiration to your soul. Neglect in any dimension depletes overall vigor. Incorporate walking, reasonable eating and disciplined sleep habits into everyday lifestyle. Epictetus advised, "Every habit and faculty is maintained and increased by the corresponding actions, walking by walking, running by running." Embrace the cumulative power of small positive decisions. Momentum builds. Master emotional reflexes to neutralize stress, alchemizing anxiety into fuel. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but your own estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Confidence resides in commanding your reactions. Seek environments nurturing mental health." As Seneca warned, association with people of questionable character will corrupt good morals. Protect space for self-inquiry and creative flow. Be slow to burden others energetically. Limit time amongst those propagating toxicity. Finally, recognize occasional needing guidance as no personal failing. Zeno stated, "The foundation of Stoicism is that the goal of a philosopher's school should be the perfection of one's mind, achieved through reason. Reason knows when supplementary support propels versus hinders this self-mastery. Confidence owns all means of preservation." Building confidence by embracing failure as fuel. In the words of Aristotle, "The ultimate value of life depends upon awareness and the power of contemplation rather than upon mere survival." The Stoics agreed with Aristotle that existence itself meant little without nurturing awareness, wisdom, and character. Thus, they viewed failures as perfect platforms for this inner work, embracing adversity as the truest path to human excellence. Progress parallels, resistance overcome. Seneca encouraged entering the struggle arms wide. "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to blows with all the disasters and accidents of fortune. Battling failure forges our mettle." Epictetus noted that difficulties offer opportunity to distinguish controllables from externals outside influence. Skillful navigation of challenge allows recognizing their powerlessness over lasting inner integrity. This knowledge becomes bulletproof confidence's foundation. Failure knocked down even history's greatest. Lincoln lost 8 elections before becoming president. The Stoics would tell him not to interpret these setbacks personally. Obstacles test current capability while refining skills for later victory. With grit and the right perspective, rising repeatedly ushers all closer to destiny. There is no courage without fear first faced. Let failure reveal fears for confrontation and surrender. Each collapse makes confident confrontation of future uncertainty possible. Use falls to question limiting beliefs. Keep expanding limits on yourself and reality until all seems possible with persistence. Fear nothing fate or man brings. The phoenix knows rising potential exceeds imagined limitations. You will too with faith and fire met gladly. Destiny awaits beyond fear. Confidence is befriending the fall. Cultivating confidence through setting and achieving goals. The Stoics understood the instrumental impact of purposing direction to develop motivation and measurable progress. As Seneca wrote, "If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable." Outcome visions nurture the confidence allowing perseverance against adversity. Epictetus stated that acting with purpose separates us from passivity. Remember that you must behave as at a banquet. Is anything brought round to you? Put out your hand and take a moderate share. Does it pass you? Do not stop it. Is it not yet come? Do not yearn in desire towards it. Goals focus efforts wisely. Break intimidating aims into gradual steps, celebrating small wins to build momentum. Aurelius noted that the attempt itself brings joy. Forward, as occasion offers. Never look round to see whether any shall note it. Be satisfied with success in even the smallest matter, and think that even such a result is no trifle. Effort elegantly compounded grows exponentially, building confidence through assertiveness and boundary setting. The Stoics stressed virtue ethics, learning to express oneself honestly while respecting collective harmony. As Marcus Aurelius commanded, stand upright or be set straight. Practice articulating needs clearly without requiring external validation. Become fluent in the language of boundaries. Confidence also relies on recognizing no person nor pursuit warrants complete surrender of principles or dignity. Epictetus noted, "If you want to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. Don't wish to seem knowledgeable. Prioritize integrity above approval in interpersonal dealings. Master non-aggressive yet direct communication." As Seneca wrote, "There are more things likely to frighten us than there are to crush us. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." State boundaries, firmly knowing fears of conversational conflict, likely exceed reality. Deploy sensitivity. Speak according to maximizing mutual growth opportunities. Applying emotional intelligence earns authority and allies. Lead every dialogue gently towards next upper ground. Building unshakable confidence by embracing uniqueness. A core Stoic teaching is recognizing that true happiness resides in expressing one's innate gifts fully. As Marcus Aurelius stated, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." External rewards remain secondary to living authentically. Therefore, the Stoics equate genuine confidence with ceaseless acts of courageous self-examination to reveal one's uniqueness, followed by relentless faithfulness to that discovery. This daily practice of celebrating small progress towards self-realization builds confidence. The Stoics also warn against diminishing individuality to conform with collective expectations. Mass opinion cannot define personalized purpose. Aurelius noted, "To move from one unselfish action to another with God in mind. Only there, delight and stillness. Seek only the divine verdict on your gifts applied." Cultivating unshakable confidence through gratitude and visualization. The consistent Stoic practice of gratitude nurtures perspective, allowing confidence to take root. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Begin each day acknowledging the gift of participating in existence. Cultivating gratitude also manifests abundance in all facets of life. Seneca taught that true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. The present overflowed with blessings when eyes open to receive them. Abundance elevates confidence. Furthermore, the Stoics trained visualization of desired outcomes as powerful means of bridging thought into manifestation. Meditating deeply upon ideals, conditions, consciousness for recognizing and capturing opportunity. My friends, our time together confirming confidence's wellspring within comes to a close. May you walk forth from this space with the self-assurance, resilience, and inner light only cultivated through befriending your whole self, imperfections included, and committing to your continuous blossoming. Allow the Stoics' wisdom to echo gently behind each footfall on the path ahead. You now hold the tools to tend fruitful gardens of purpose and possibility in the landscape of your mind. So plant seeds of imagination unafraid, nourish growth through discipline and gratitude, thrive brightly, watered by faith in your expanding gifts. Until we meet again, journey well with confidence as your companion. Have you ever been in a tense situation where you lost your cool and regretted how you reacted later? It happens to all of us at times. When tensions run high, it's difficult to think clearly and respond appropriately. The ancient philosophy of Stoicism offers practical techniques to handle stressful events with level-headed calm and composure. The Stoics understood that while we cannot always control external events, we have the power to control how we respond internally. As Marcus Aurelius stated, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So how can we tap into this inner power? In this video, we will delve into 3 important ways of managing your stress. Be strong and watch until the end. 1. Master your emotions through reason. The Stoics were firm believers that excessive or irrational emotions like anger, fear, and anxiety stem from incorrect judgments and ways of thinking. As Epictetus stated, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them." When stressful events occur, our instincts often lead us astray emotionally. To counter this tendency, the Stoics developed practices to carefully examine these events through reason, logic, and clear-headed analysis before reacting. By slowing down our thinking, taking a Socratic view of the situation, and defining key elements precisely, we begin to evaluate things more accurately and objectively. This restores reason and perspective. Irrational emotions then have less influence over us. For example, imagine your boss harshly criticizes work you put great effort into. The instinctive reaction might be anger or hurt feelings, but the Stoic approach is pausing to rationally assess: what precisely did the boss criticize and why? What aspects were and were not in my control? Are my emotional reactions fitting and constructive? Reflection often reveals the critic made some fair points we can learn from, or external factors at play. This moderates extreme feelings into more thoughtful recalibration. As Seneca described, "The first thing which philosophy undertakes to give is fellow feeling with all men." In other words, sympathy and sociability. Its aim is to guide emotions like compassion over fickle reactions, preventing needless interpersonal friction. Directing our feelings wisely while managing destructive impulses is key for social harmony and leadership. 2. Shift your mindset about what's in your control. A major source of stress is the struggle against circumstances that are externally beyond our control. As Epictetus said, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control and some things are not." It is only after you have faced up to this fundamental rule and learned to distinguish between what you can and can't control that inner tranquility and outer effectiveness become possible. Yet we often waste energy bitterly complaining about situations we cannot dictate, from bad weather to political leadership to a loved one's health. The Stoic approach is accepting the limits of our agency with grace, while redirecting that effort towards self-mastery. This means focusing attention and action solely on what is within your power. Marcus Aurelius described it well. "Do not disturb yourself by picturing your life as a whole. Do not assemble in your mind the many and varied troubles which have come to you in the past and will come again in the future, but ask yourself with regard to every present difficulty, what is there in this that is unbearable and beyond endurance? You would be ashamed to confess it, and then remind yourself that it is not the future or what has passed that afflicts you, but always the present, and the power of this is much diminished if you take it in isolation and call your mind to task if it thinks that it cannot stand up to it when taken on its own. In challenging situations, isolate each controllable element. focusing solely on your available choices and actions, one step at a time. Respond to trials by controlling your virtue, wisdom, and character, never counting on changing circumstances. Maintain this mindset shift consistently, rather than slipping into wishful thinking and avoidance. Training your mind to distinguish the changeable from the unchangeable will grant increasing command over your experience, no matter the conditions, empowering you with inner resilience and self-sufficiency. Redirecting your efforts this way is the first step toward reduced stress and greater tranquility. 3. Prepare for stress through visualization. The Stoics practiced an incredible exercise called premeditatio malorum, which translates to premeditation of evils, essentially visualizing future hardships and adversities vividly before they arrive. Why is this beneficial? As Seneca explains, remember that the power lies with us, not outside forces. We suffer due to our judgment of events, not the events themselves. By imagining potential stresses we may face in vivid sensory detail, we foresee hazardous areas of judgment. Equipped with this foresight, we can preempt destructive reactions, rehearse purposeful responses, and condition our minds for anything, building resilience for when adversity actually strikes. How do we do this? Set aside quiet time to picture future scenarios that could test your character, virtue, and tranquility, such as losing your job, suffering a serious illness, losing a loved one, etc. Imagine these events vividly in all sensory dimensions, evoking your instinctive emotional and behavioral reactions. How well or poorly do you respond under the distress of these scenarios? Dissect which reactions and judgments incite excessive anger, anxiety, sadness, or other destructive responses that disturb your equanimity. As Seneca says, by anticipating future events, we can diminish their power over us when they occur. We rob them of shock and emotional turmoil. Once you discern your emotional triggers, consciously rehearse exercising wisdom and self-control regardless of conditions, demonstrating impervious mastery over your inner state. In this way, we do not cling to preferred outcomes or live in denial of misfortune's inevitability, but steel hardship's power to influence our judgment. When adversity actually arrives, you will meet it with a hardened, serene spirit. So, use the power of potent imagination to see in advance what challenges your well-being, and prepare carefully to remain master of yourself in all situations. True tranquility comes not from chance or complacency, but the conscious choice to build resilience. By picturing stressful scenarios we may face, we can rehearse staying calm and preempt destructive reactions, building resilience when challenges actually come. What aspects of Stoic philosophy have helped you keep your cool under stress? I welcome your comments and questions below. Until next time, stay wise, my friends. What if the key to true happiness has already been revealed centuries ago? What if becoming your best self was merely a matter of steering your life by certain timeless virtues? The ancient Stoic philosophers made what seems like an audacious claim, that a life of moral excellence leads to an unshakable inner calm and fulfillment. In today's chaotic world full of endless temptations that lead us astray, can adopting a Stoic mindset really bring more tranquility and meaning? Could techniques conceived in ancient Greece truly make us resilient moderns happier? Stick with me as we dive into the details of Stoic ethics, and I promise you'll emerge enlightened, motivated, and equipped to thrive. The 4 Stoic virtues. What mystical code unlocks inner peace and purpose according to the Stoics? Their formula for fulfillment centers around cultivating 4 moral pillars: practical wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. Let's bring these cardinal virtues to life. Picture wisdom as a discerning inner voice, whispering timely advice so you make reasonable judgments. Envision justice as an unwavering commitment to ethics that guides your conduct. See courage as a resilient grit that helps you persevere through setbacks. And view moderation as the self-restraint to keep your impulses in check. Now here is the paradox. While we view the externally rich, beautiful, or pampered as having achieved the good life, the Stoics argue true joy lies in this moral quartet, most magnified through adversity. As the prominent Roman Stoic Seneca penned in Letters from a Stoic, "By wisdom I have strength, by morality I have protection, by limiting my desires I have resources." Counterintuitively, by focusing inwards on our character rather than outwards on comfort or glory, the Stoics unlock lasting fulfillment. Now let us explore how living by these 4 virtues allows us to weather misfortune, progress on our journeys, and remain centered in choppy seas. Picture wisdom as the rudder, justice as the moral compass, courage as the momentum, and moderation as the balance needed to captain our ships. Freedom through discipline. Can restrictions actually unlock new vistas of possibility? The Stoic sages posit a counterintuitive premise that freedom emerges through self-discipline. By taking charge of our judgments and tempering our destructive urges, we gain control over our inner domain. Let's make this concrete. Have you ever made a reasonable plan to improve yourself, only to have your emotions hijack efforts through anxiety, frustration, or impatience? Stoicism offers techniques to overcome this self-sabotage. As Epictetus advised, if you want to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. Don't wish to seem knowledgeable. Imagine your goals as an archer taking aim at a target, with emotions as winds trying to throw you off course. While we cannot control outside forces, by steadying our calm and concentration, we can release potent shots. Each time you lower the bow, through meditative walks, reflecting on mortality, or separating what you can and cannot control, without being distracted, your self-mastery increases. Shall we free ourselves from slavery to destructive urges? The Stoic prescription is righteous rituals that build our autonomy, making space for us to respond wisely. See how constraints like pausing before reacting, avoiding complaint, or rising early direct our energies towards progress. By governing our attention and self-talk, we claim dominion over the only kingdom that truly matters, the inner sanctum of our soul. Now that we have charted a straight course, let us explore what living in harmony with nature truly means. Living in agreement with nature. What does it mean to live in harmony with nature according to the Stoics? It is aligning our judgments and actions to the reality of how things are. Imagine floating effortlessly down a river rather than exhausting yourself paddling against the current. Consider challenges not as interrupts to rail against, but opportunities to practice wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. See outer turmoil as a reminder to turn inwards and control your response. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, objective judgment, now at this very moment. Unselfish action, now at this very moment. Willing acceptance, now at this very moment, of all external events. Picture the world as an interconnected web, with an intelligent organizing principle governing the cycles of creation and destruction. Do your small part harmoniously, without demanding the universe conform to your desires. This means maintaining equipoise in bounty and bereavement alike. Train seeing events plainly, without magnification of their importance. View your temporary possession of health, wealth, and loved ones as borrowed, not owned. Consider impermanence your closest companion, keeping priorities aligned. This may sound grim, but the Stoics promise it brings euphoric lightness. Freed from anxiety, you engage each moment as it comes, fully present. When Fortuna spins her wheel, spilling honors or woes, you stand tall on your character, not particular outcomes. This unassailable poise is what the Stoics call ataraxia. Now let's tie together how the path of virtue delivers the fruit of happiness. Happiness through inner peace. If euphoric tranquility seems only possible for mystics meditating on mountaintops, the Stoics present another path, finding fulfillment through daily moral living. By progressing slowly through self-discipline towards virtue, we transform ourselves. Imagine happiness as a garden rather than seeking exotic pleasures. Nurture wholesome daily routines like reflection, exercise, and service. Divert efforts from changing others, redirecting energy inwards to tend our character. Consider external events with rational detachment rather than childish craving or aversion. As Seneca wrote, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. It is savoring ordinary moments, sunlight catching crystals in winter, crisp air in autumn, lilac blooms in spring. Happiness is not something you find. It is a muscle you train through practice to lift the weight of the world. The Stoic regimen promises that over time, self-mastery brings equilibrium. By cutting the strings controlling your psyche from the capriciousness of fortune, you rest assured. When adversity strikes, flex your resilience to bounce back. The waves on the ocean become ever tumultuous, but try as it may, nature cannot disturb the settled seabed depths where you dwell. You survey it all from stillness with magnanimity instead of misery, because your peace comes from within. This unbreakable poise is available to us all, not through special advantage, but the progressive journey towards living honorably guided by wisdom. The Stoic path offers time-tested methods to turn turbulent conditions into personal growth on the quest for fulfillment. We cannot always choose external events, but we have absolute dominion over judgments and conduct. May this virtual pilgrimage into Stoicism equally educate and embolden you towards eudaimonia.